Hello, hello. Welcome, friends. What's going on? Okay, in this video, well, I'm going to do an energy update. I'm in the Akashic records, and they have made it very clear that for this week and what you guys need to know whenever you land on this video in quantum time space is we're going to focus on time and money and time. That they're kind of synonymous, and how to collapse time and work with time to gain yourself more time, which is to gain yourself more power and more energy, which is more money. What's up, friends? So we're going to be diving into that. If you're new, hi, welcome. Nice to meet you, fellow soul traveler. My name is Stormy Calder. I'm a psychic medium, a shaman, an Akashic records reader, a teacher, a consciousness expert, a spiritual mentor, and a personal branding coach. All the different things that you can find in a human. I do, and I do them well. And if you're new, subscribe, tap the bell for notifications, the like button. Oh my God, I'm forgetting all of the things. Do all the things you know to do. Comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys what resonates, as per usual. And if you are also new, and or if you're not new and haven't signed up yet, I have a free cash infusion guided meditation that I really think you're going to love. It's in the description, and there's a link in the description below. I have to sync myself up right now. I'm like, my energy's in 4 different places. And it's because I'm using the mic again, but I'm practicing, okay? Because I'm going to be running the podcast. So I kind of have to get used to this. So I'm just going to like work my will and my magic over here. Okay, so cash infusion meditation is about transforming your energy to be receptive to the energy of money, where you're receiving it, like it opens up little receptacles on the edge of your auric field to be able to receive the energy of money to then translate and move it into money. It is very effective. I think you're going to dig that. That's for free. It's a 20-minute guided meditation. Also, Money Recoded is open for enrollment. This is my newest program. I'm going to be running the entire program live. This is the first time it will be live. Every time after this, it will be pre-recorded. So if you want to work with me, this is your time to do it. So we're going to be diving into the energetics of money, how to attract money, be safe with money, have money feel like it's safe with you so it comes to you. It's 8 modules where we go through recoding the energetics and your understanding of money so that you can attract it and keep it and spend it and save it in all of the different ways. It's also about really understanding your own inherent self-worth and your inherent self-value, seeing yourself as extraordinarily valuable, and then understanding how to translate that energy of value into receiving value from others, into investing in yourself. Once you understand your value and your self-worth, it's really easy to make money. It's really easy to increase your money. It's easy to see your value in everything and allow that value exchange because you're inherently intimate with your own value, with your own energy, with your own soul current. So that's what I got there. I might jump more into what's in Money Recoded later in the stream, but that's my quick update. We're starting the welcome module on Friday this week, and then we start module 1 next week. So jump in. There's a promo code in the description below as well for you guys. It's an early bird discount code. And you can learn all the details about the program there. Okay. I'm not going to lie. I had a ton of steam like 10 minutes ago, and now I'm getting a little tired. And I'm also going to check out these headphones because I'm not sure if I can hear myself or not, if they work. But these are the most fun vintage headphones. So there's that. And I can't hear anything. So I have a new mic coming, not for you guys that you mind or care, but it's coming. I don't know. I'm really excited. I'm excited for the whole vibe. But that's not working for me. So hold on, give me 1 sec. We're working out the new setup, right? Okay. Thank you for all the reactions and things. I'm sleepy. But the Akashic Record said this was a must, that it had to get out tonight. And they were very clear about the theme. So we're talking about time, and we're talking about money relative to time. Okay. Themes for the week. Again, whenever you land on this video, it will be relevant for you. You will receive whatever codes and downloads that you need from your soul and your own ascension energy, because we're working with, I work with the quantum in time space. So it's meeting you when it needs to meet you. Okay, so theme number 1 is synchronizing time. And then they told me lines in parentheses. Okay, we're synchronizing time, but we're really synchronizing timelines. And when they said this to me, they were showing me different wavelength patterns, like sound waves, right? And they were showing me many different waves stacked on top of each other with many different sizes, and that the energy of the waves were trying to synchronize together to get all of the waves on the same wave. I'm gonna use the word waves 10 more times. But it's just trying to synchronize all of the different aspects of time into one, something that's running in like agreement, that's synchronized together. All of the waves are in harmony, right? Okay, guys, tell me a little more about synchronizing timelines. What does this tell us for this week? There's a lot of extraneous timelines that you guys are running right now. So when we open up big portals, and something like the 1111 portal would do this, or the 88, just sometimes we can do it independent of like timestamps, astrologically as well. Like we can kind of do this ourselves, but regardless of when you're landing on this, and forgive me for being a little disconjointed. My energy it feels a little scattered. A, because of the topic, B, because of how I'm channeling right now, and C, because of the setup. So anyway, thanks for bearing with me. Okay, so it's synchronizing time. When we open up larger portals of time and we walk through them, when we jump timelines, when we access, I'm going to try to explain this in a number of different ways. When we access our highest timeline, which means we have just jumped a timeline. When we step into more grandiose versions of ourselves, when we occupy more of our soul current or our soul power, all of those things are kind of saying the same thing. That's opening up a portal. When we walk through that portal, a certain amount of karma becomes due, which I'm going to explain in a moment here as well. And those are lessons that need to be learned very quickly, if that makes sense. When you close a portal and you close a timeline, or sorry, when you close, they're streaming this through in so many different ways. Hold on, I have to synchronize my energy through. Okay, condense my energy, please, so that I can feel this more. Thank you. When you occupy a higher state of awareness and you solidify just what I did just now, you solidify more of your power into the present moment, and you walk through to a new timeline or a new state or way of being that is different than what you are accustomed to, but that occupies more of your own personal power. There is a process in order to condense time in the moment where you have to then collapse previous timelines in order to stay on the new one. I hope this makes sense. In order to stay with your power in the more powerful timeline that you've chosen, which is generally chosen with action, and big action, you have to close out previous time portals essentially as quickly as possible. Otherwise, you're fragmenting your soul current. Do you really need to go through the specifics on that, or is that really where? Okay, I'm just going to stream, but I don't know if it's all going to make sense. So they're saying they're decoding and recoding time. It does have to do with time, and time has to do with where your power is in the quantum. Is your power in the present moment, or is your power fragmented off in previous conflicts? And then when you make a powerful decision and you bring more of your power, more of your soul power into the present moment, which is done through a time jump or occupying a higher timeline, then all of the fragmented versions of yourself that are essentially living on other time branches need to be synchronized into the moment. Otherwise, it's like you're like over processing your hardware for your computer. It's like your soul energy is then processing just as much power in many timelines simultaneously, which will feel like a train hitting a brick wall. So in order to maintain, I didn't even realize that they're kind of slowing me down in my process and saying, inspect your own process, Stormy, to then give the way through for people. So it's like, hold on. Once you make the timeline jump, you have to collect all the pieces of you that were left behind in that moment, that weren't left behind until the moment that you made the jump. The way that we synchronize time is we need to close up and complete karmic loops that are past ideas, essentially. Past ideas of where you fragmented off your soul in one degree or another. It could even just be a fragmented aspect of your mind where there are old lessons that don't come to completion. They just need to come to completion. I'm so sorry for taking a really roundabout way of saying this. It feels a little confusing to describe in this moment. What does that look like? It looks like tying up lessons as quickly as possible, tying up projects as quickly as possible. So the way that you can think about it is that if you have an ongoing to-do list, like I've got my big whiteboards on my wall, and I've got lots of things, lots of projects that are constantly on my plate. If you have a lot of things that you've been meaning to do and haven't done yet, and you hop timelines, it's a good time to get it all done as quickly as possible. That's like kind of I guess a good way of describing this. What you're doing is completing tasks in your mind. What you're doing is giving completion to emotions in your heart that have been running on autopilot, that are wondering when they're going to be able to feel complete. You need to be able to bring a feeling of completion to different things you have in mind, but they're not just in your mind. They're actually living in your heart space. So for me, I'm just trying to think like different projects. I'm not going to label these things out because it's just a little too personal for me, but there are things I have in mind that are projects in business that have been running in the background of my mind for more than 90 days. And they're saying this is a good benchmark for anything in your life. So if it's been running in the background of my mind for more than 90 days, it means that it's creating time branches with multiple possibilities because my energy is being split off, because my intention is to complete these projects. I have a lot of power tied up in a number of them. When it goes past the 90-day mark, it needs to be completed essentially as soon as possible, because it's just continuing to, I won't say steal time because these are good projects for me, but they're continuing to take time away from my current timeline, if this makes sense. So my current timeline is me with presence now. When I have a lot of power, a lot of intention, a lot of passion sent to something that's moving away from me, it's not in the now moment, it commands time, energy, it commands power, and all of that is a sort of like financial energy in the terms of the universe. It's power. So where are you sending your power? When you close those projects up, when you bring them to completion, you take the power from the alternate time branches and you actually merge them with your current moment. So it brings all of your power back to the now, which allows you to have access to that power. And when you have access to that power, like it's like a power surge or a battery, then you have the ability to spend that power or move that power into new timelines, into where you want to go moving forward, which you can't do without collapsing the previous timelines. So let me just check in with them if I can talk about this. They asked me to be a little sensitive on the stream. So they're telling me, they're like making this really obvious for me. There are 2 projects I have running that are that are requiring a lot of power from me. So one is the podcast, and that's been like a constant running in the background of my mind for like 6 months maybe. But really the last 90 days, and it came to a point where last week my spirit guides came in and they said, listen, they said, if you don't pull the trigger on this podcast is going to pull the trigger on you. And I was like, what does that mean? And then I was read the Riot Act and I was like, maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I was like, okay, totally. I get it. I'll upgrade my mic and I will just do the things that need to be done. And I'll make the artwork and I'll hook it up on Spotify. And I did all the things. So it's like there's a point where the timelines reach a saturation moment and they need to be collapsed back into the current moment, into the present moment. And if they're not, then what happens is there is a sort of breaking point where more time branches go off and split off more parallel dimensional realities off of the branch where it's not met into completion, meaning you haven't done it. So then this is such a heady conversation, but they asked me to talk about this. So when we don't allow projects to complete and we keep sending energy to them, there's a point where they reach such a moment of saturation that if they're not given birth to and brought into the present moment, that they then they're telling me millions of alternate realities, that all of that power that you sent to that project is now moving in all of those realities. And if you think about it as power, like a power surge, I don't know how else to describe it, like electricity, you're sending electricity to that. And now all of those timeline branches open up. Now you're sending electricity to power all of those timelines. And you're essentially just taking your spiritual currency, your creative power, your prowess, I don't know what else to call it. It's a power. It's your vitality. It's your chi. It's your passion. And you're sending it to millions of other timelines. Now, if you have a lot of projects that they're telling me gone sour, it's like when they met their saturation point and then they weren't brought into a level of completion into the present. You lose a lot of energy. You lose your life force. This could literally take decades off of someone's life, depending on how many projects with a lot of passion, or they're saying relationships that are running in alternate realities. What we want to do as frequently as we can, especially when we hop into a new higher timeline, is you want to close up those previous timelines as quickly as possible, because you want to sync up your power and your energy with the now moment so that you get your money, your spiritual energy back into the moment. And once you have that power opens up potential and possibilities in ways you can't imagine yet. It opens up new moments. It opens up the ability to step into the miraculous, like things that we don't know that we need yet. When we collapse that power, we buy ourselves a lot of time. This is very action oriented, and I'll try to go through ways to collapse the previous timelines. So for me, when I heard that it was at a pivot point for the podcast, I was like, okay, I'm dedicated. I'll do it. I'll make the artwork. You have to start moving things into action. So you have to bring it into completion. Otherwise, that energy continues to run in an alternate reality and split off into time branches. So, and that completion doesn't have to be like, so for the podcast for me, I didn't launch the podcast a few weeks ago. But I did take the next step, next step, next step, next step. I did make the artwork. I did order the gear. I did, I did the things. And then it's moving it into action so that it can sync up with this timeline. And there was a lot of energy going to that. Now, another thing I have running is Money Recoded. And that's been running not that long, but it's got a lot of power behind it. Maybe 60 days as a germination to completion cycle for me. I moved that one into action quickly. But that one's now at a saturation point as well. And we're right at our opening time to actually completely begin the program. So that's really exciting too. So that's bringing completion energy and bringing my power into the present from something that's been growing with a lot of speed and momentum as well. So those are just a couple of quick examples. You want to bring things into completion. Now, when we look at karma, projects are karma based as well. So without going into detail, that is tying up karma. Also, there are other karmic loops that need to be tied and brought into closure. Can you guys stream through? I have an idea of how to do that, but just some quick ideas. Okay, they're saying it's less about the closing karma, more about synchronizing reality. So I'm going to try to stream this through a little bit more. Here's what I'll say on karmic lessons, okay? Things that you've been learning, things that you know that you need to learn, because karma is really lessons. It's like circumstances being presented in front of you, generally over lengths of periods of time, so that you can understand what it is that you couldn't understand before, and then synchronize that into your timeline. The easiest way to close up karmic loops is to pay it forward. If there's something that you've been struggling with and haven't been learning to a level of completion, if you can then teach that or pay it forward or help somebody else solve it really quickly, what that does is it closes the karmic loops behind you. Without going into detail, for those of you that this makes sense to, it forces a reversal of the karmic energy. It just reverses the energy and makes it a positive karma, a good karma, instead of something you have to work through in a different way. Okay, so they gave me notes, but they're steering me a little bit. And just to give you guys an idea, so I have things I could run in my mind, but it's almost like I do this frequently, but I'm leaning on the gamma frequency, on the universal mind a little bit more, but it's almost like my mental body is running in a different frequency wavelength form, like quite literally. So I don't know. I got to synchronize in. So just give me a sec here. And I hope this is helpful for everyone that it is for. So enjoy it. Okay. Okay, so they're asking me to talk about why you need to synchronize timelines. So why don't you guys tell me, why do we need to synchronize timelines? If they're not synchronized, they start to gain power independent from the source that is synchronized to you. As they grow in power, if they are not synchronized to you, they become enemy timelines where they pull your power away from you. So then you have to wrestle to the ground the parts of you that are in states of disarray or are not in harmony, that are in immediate conflict, but quite literally with your power, which are, we'll say, timelines. So if your power, we're all given a certain amount of voltage. If your power is distributing across time, space, reality in a way that is conflicted, you're creating internal enemies that will not only create blockages on your path, but will actually function as enemies within your energy. And your own energy will chase you down in the quantum to, they're not showing it as blockages or obstacles. They're showing it as thieves. They're showing it as your own shadow energy takes on a life of its own and then essentially sabotages you, but that's a really gentle way of saying it. They're showing me thieves, like versions of your shadow jumping onto your own timelines and trying to knock your lights out. That's very interesting. I totally see how I do that. But I'm also good at this work too. But okay, so can you guys open that up a little bit if you want me to talk about that, or just lead me where you need me to go next? I'm just gonna keep rolling here. They're opening up so many different trains of thought, and I just keep asking them to like make it clear and concise because I'm like, I don't have 3 hours to unpack the message. Like, sometimes with quantum work like this, the way that it comes through is very spotty. It's kind of like, yeah, I mean, I think that was the best word to use. It's kind of like a spotty, alternate dimensional connection. I feel like I'm getting like an SOS signal and I'm trying, but it's not coming through as a solid stream of a signal. I'm getting like a spot here and a spot here and a spot here. And that has a lot to do with my consciousness because I'm trying to understand in the moment, really, really complicated consciousness dynamics. So when we're working with quantum time, it's infinite. There are guards and guardrails on it. You want to stay within certain time matrices. So it gets confusing really fast. And my little ant human brain, I'm intelligent, but like my human brain is like, oh, that's a lot. That's a lot. I don't know what you're sending to me, but that's a lot for the human to handle. Thanks, friend. This is mic 1. We'll have mic 2. You guys can tell me which sounds better when we get there. Okay. Akashic Records, I need you to speed this up. Like, I'm getting a little bored. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, where are we on time too? This is my new setup, so I gotta like look at the screen differently. I'm on my laptop. Okay. I'm just gonna run through the rest of my notes and we'll go from there. Okay, so things to think about. Time and power are synonymous. So what gives you time versus what takes time? And time can be expanded, and that's based on where your power is in presence. Are you in the present moment, or is your power, is your creative energy tied up in lots of other conflicts, lots of other I don't know, emotional hangups, things other people have said to you that like you're kind of like lingering on, or maybe lingering on for days. Like, where is your energy? Is it tied up in a lot of like, I need to do this and I need to do this and I haven't done it? Like constant projections. Whenever we're whenever we're thinking about what needs to be done or what we are thinking about, like who we are thinking about, how we are thinking about them, where is our emotional energy? Where are we feeling? How are we feeling? Where are those feelings directed to, or where are they coming from? All of that has to do with where we distribute our power. Where you distribute your power is where the main timeline that you're running is. So the timeline that you are currently in is the timeline that has the most of your power available. We can easily switch timelines by either occupying more of our power or less of our power. When we occupy more of our power, we move faster through time, because this is how you split time, or how you collapse time, and gain time in your favor, is you occupy more of your power in presence, in the present moment, which allows you to command quantum time instead of linear time. The more power you occupy, the more important your singular decisions become in the moment. If you're occupying a lot of your power and you have a lot of intention on knowing what decisions you want to make to move yourself forward in a way that would feel like the highest expression of yourself, then when you make those singular decisions, I don't want to keep using the word collapsing time, but you collapse time. When you make those decisions from that place, because you have so much power available, it is as if you did a million different actions that would have taken you so much quite literal linear time. So you're able to shortcut the process of getting anything done, or making really miraculous jumps or encounters in your life where people are like, how did you do that in that amount of time? It's because you collapsed time by occupying your power, your personal soul essence, with such a level of stability, assuredness, and direction, power and direction. Direction paired with intention of knowing what you want and how to go get it, with that place of presence and power, will allow you to get what you want in a complete fraction of the time. That sounds like a simple statement. I don't know who this is for or where this needs to go. It sounds simple. It is not simple. It's very complicated. And if everyone knew this, everyone would be racing through their lives in like the most fun, practical, best of ways, like skipping along to their millions of dollars, because that is like the key code. That is how you get time in your favor. And, I heard something recently, and I used to, I don't know, this isn't new, but just like revisiting the phrase, like everyone has the same 24 hours. It's not true. Like yes, but no. It's like literally, sure. But does everyone have the same 24 hours? No, because quantum time is real. Depending on the level of power you're holding at any time, you could have eons of time in a day. Like I mean, I don't know, for example, there's a lot I want to get done in the next 30 days, and I'm expanding time open so that I can get more done in less time. Now, these are skill sets. Obviously it's a psychic skill set like with anything else, but time is relative. It's not truly linear. We just perceive it as being linear. It has everything to do with your financial energy. That's what my guides call power. Your spiritual power is your financial energy. If you're occupying a lot of your spiritual power, which is to occupy your highest states of awareness without conflict, and then to give it direction, then you can really mold time and circumstance into your favor. And like really, I don't have any other ways of saying it, just extraordinary ways. Extraordinary ways. So when they were telling me earlier, they were like, when you're expanding your power and time, it's like, there are two ways you can expand power. Are you expanding power through presence, through being in the present moment. Because you'll know, like, when you meditate or you breathe into yourself and you are hyper present to the now moment, you're like, you can see everything around you. I can tell how present I am in a moment based on how much detail is presented to me in any moment. Because when I'm really, really present, moments saturate to me. Like colors get, I I don't even know how to describe. They it's kind of like being on mushrooms, but I'm sober. It's like the colors around me will increase their saturation by 40%. I'll start to see vibrations around me. Um, my hearing gets dialed in so I can hear frequencies that I wouldn't be able to hear otherwise. Um, when you're really present and you have a lot of power in the present moment, it becomes alive in a way that is really indescribable. I'm trying. But so when you're that present, when you have that much presence, you're expanding your power through presence. Another way to expand your power is through fragmentation or through conflict. Because if you remember earlier, if you've listened this far, we were talking about how when a timeline is not synchronized and it carries a lot of power, there's a point at the saturation point where if it's not brought into completion into the current timeline, that it then opens up a metric F ton of time branches. That is a form of expansion, but it's oh my gosh. I'm even getting fragmented talking about it. It's a form of expansion that is based in pulling your power away from your present moment because you are not completing those energies. If you were completing those energies, they would be with you right now in some level of completion or action. When they are incomplete energies and they grow in that amount of power, they pull your power away from the moment and into a conflict. Now they're telling me when that conflict grows and grows and grows and grows and has tons of time branches, at some point that conflict is going to take on such a level of power. This is unconscious power, which is dominated by the shadow. That unconscious power will find its way back to your current timeline because it's like a creepy crawler energy that knows where the source of power is now leaking because it's now taking a dominant timeline according to it. It will find its way back over to your timeline through time branches and try to steal the energy from you to dominate you. And this is where your own energy becomes an enemy because this is just you. It's you versus you. It's just your shadow energy versus your present moment energy, which is your light energy. I'm not gonna lie, this makes a lot of sense for me. I'm like, oh, I can see how I've done that before. Totally makes sense. So for some examples for whoever needs this, what does it look like when that shadow comes to try to hijack this timeline? It can look like a lot of things. It can look like a car accident. It can look like a freak health accident, a freak anything accident. This is why we command so much divine protection, because depending on what your soul's got going on and how much conflict is working, if you have a lot of conflict running behind the scenes, you've got a lot of power in your shadow, and it's just a matter of time. You can be dotting your I's and crossing your T's in your light and in your good sweet timeline, but if you have a lot of shadow power running in an alternate dimensional reality that you haven't closed up, it's going to at least try to sideswipe you. Through divine protection, I will say I don't get sideswiped, but but it doesn't mean that the shadow's not going to try. And again, that could be freak accidents. I'm not calling that in for any of you, so I'm asking that those, this is just education, but that nothing is called in. It can also look like people trying to take you down in one way or another. It can look like very external enemies. It can look like, actually, this is going to take it into too many directions. I'm going to stay on target. You guys get it, I think. Okay, Peanut Gallery, Akashic Records. You guys want to weigh in there, or am I good to move on to the next one? They're like, just go into some bullets. Here, they're saying, here's what I need you to do, but I don't need you to do anything. This is up to you. But if you are this far and you're interested in collapsing the previous timelines to make your current life easier, command more power, and bring time on your side where you can, it's almost like living 10 years in a day. Like it's like, how do you bring that much power, that much energy into the now moment so that you can actually move forward and save yourself years that were undeniably wasted is what's coming through. I don't know. I guess I don't know that well, I'm like, is that message for me? I'm like, I don't know. I guess I could kind of. So if you feel like you have wasted any time or you've been behind, I've definitely felt that before. It's about bringing the power into the present moment and then making decisions from the present moment with that power, with a lot of intention, and then the direction and the follow through of the actions with the intention to bring the years, the time that was lost into the moment now. That time is a power. And once you take those actions from that place, that power begins to grow in a way where it works for you instead of you having to work for it. And they are bringing it to in terms of money. So you are either like working for an hourly wage. You're working for your time, or you have a more expansive way of earning money and it's not time-based. So it's kind of the same thing with power. You're either working for more time with your power, earning time, or the time starts to come to you because you're functioning as a magnetic force because you are occupying so much of your power and you know what to do with it. This makes sense to me, but again, this is very heady esoteric, so I hope this lands with whoever it needs to land with. Okay, they're just telling me to go to the next one. So the next thing they gave me was there's power in the unknown. The way that they were showing me this in the quantum, it has to do with mining for raw soul data or raw soul energy, which is power. So when we go into the quantum in this way, when we go into the unknown, anything unknown, and everybody's always freaked out about the unknown. It's the one thing I coach about the most. It's like, oh, the unknown. You have no idea what's going to happen. You can get bit by a snake, or you can, they're saying eat lobster. I don't know who that message is for. Really, the unknown is a beautiful place to be. And if you can remove the fear that the ego has about thinking that when you walk into the darkness that you're going to get hurt or there's going to be a monster. It's like when you're a kid thinking that there are monsters living under your bed. Like it's just an under the bed scenario. Like there's actually nothing going on, in most realities. It's very similar with the unknown. If you can trust yourself, if you can trust your power, if you can trust your decision-making ability, if you can trust your discernment, then you can trust the unknown, because in any moment, as you step into the unknown, it's just presenting you more raw power. So the reason why people get freaked out about stepping into the unknown of anything is because they don't trust themselves with their own power. So when they step into the unknown and they're confronted with raw power, it's generally going to their shadow in one way or another because they don't know how to mine that power. Again, this is a very heady esoteric concept that really deserves a whole course in itself. But they asked me to touch on it, so we're here for it. That's me saying I would love to go into this for like 12 hours and try to explain it, but I cannot. I will not. Okay, so when you're stepping out into the unknown, it requires sheer presence, skill, diplomacy, and you need to be able to find the need in any moment and then fill that need in any moment. So those are the skills that are required to navigate the unknown. And there's a lot of power in the unknown. So if you need to collapse time, or you need to save time, or you need to fix a lot of problems very quickly, which always involves getting time on your side, then you need to develop those skills and go into the unknown and trust yourself to handle it. Let me think. They're giving me a reference point, but I have to think back to what it was. There are things between time and money where when I needed more money, I would say to the universe, I need time. I need more time. Can you give me more time? And my spirit guides would hammer at me endlessly. You don't need more time. You need a dime, which is their code for me. In case this helps you guys, the dime code, light code, is quantum time. It means I needed a jump. I need a time jump. I need to see a portal. I need to walk through. I need to expand my power. I need to expand my possibility. I need to expand the potential in this current moment. And the only way we can really expand that potential is simultaneously collapsing previous timelines and calling our power into the moment, essentially as a soul retrieval. Releasing all expectation or ideas that conflict is helpful. For example, if there are lots of conversations, like I'm even thinking for myself, some emotional conversations that needed to be had with people or what have you, like there's a point where it's just like snip, snip, like let it go. Like I can't hang on to this stuff because it's pulling power away from my current moment. Maybe I'll handle it in the future. Maybe I won't. I don't know, but it needs to be tied up now. That tying up process now could be a quick journaling. It could be just really a release and a let go, like, and just a not being willing to revisit it. It's being okay with being misunderstood. It's being okay with people disliking you. It's being okay, like for me, I actually feel like a lot of these fall into the same category, is people thinking it's people misunderstanding me and people thinking I'm a villain, because they don't think I'm living to my own spiritual core values, which they can't judge. Actually, I am the judge of that, but it really comes down to perception. It's like other people saying, oh, she's not that spiritual because she didn't people please me into submission or what have you. And it's like, I have so many things to do. Like I cannot be splitting my energy off to take care of every single person that ever thinks that I'm saying something that could be possibly misconstrued. Like it's, I can't do that. It's completely unreasonable. So at that point, it's just like releasing those things and just saying somewhere in my mind, for those of you that this makes sense with, I'm going to be misunderstood. I'm not here to fix those misunderstandings. Like it's actually not my responsibility. My responsibility is just to keep moving forward and then to keep the guardrails up as far as not allowing my brain to ruminate on all of those things, or my heart, my emotions to ruminate on, oh, do I need to go take care of, like, do I need to reach out more? Do I need to fix that? Do I need to blah, 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 blah. I don't have any concrete examples for you, but that seems to be the thread for me that's coming through. It's like, it tends to be like me thinking that I'm misunderstood and like, oh, I need to protect my reputation in one way or another. We'll put that in big quotations, reputation. Yeah. I'm just seeing your comments in here too. Oh, thanks, Dylan. I feel very grounded right now. Thank you. I also feel like I'm grounded, but handling like a very stormy topic. like actual storm. I'm like, this is a quantum storm. I don't know how we're doing the thing. Okay, I covered that. I'm just going to check in with the records and then I'll touch on the last theme here. Okay, so they said I've successfully opened up the time gate and the time portal for the number of you that needed this. So I think good job is what's coming through. I'm like, this is a little challenging, but all right. What else do they need to know, or do I need to know to share? So my guides, those of you that have been following me for a while, you know that my guides like to talk in terms of race car drivers a lot. They also show it sometimes as horse racing, but more frequently it's shown as race car driving to me because it's high stakes, lots of power, high speed. It's dangerous. It's fun, and there is a race. Like those tend to be the ascension terms that I'm working on. So that's why that's why they show race car drivers a lot to me. Also, because there are codes behind the horsepower in a vehicle. That horsepower is shadow power. It's raw, untapped potential. It's what was the phrase I used earlier? It's mining the power from the quantum. I know this is for like this will land for the right people. I don't know whoever's seeing this wherever you are. I'm just I'm literally like I can see the visions and I'm like this needs to be expanded into an entirely a course. A course. But the way that it's being shown, when I say mine power, I don't know. It's like I don't play video games. I wish I had a reference of one. Maybe Minecraft? Like I don't know. Like you're like chipping away at shit in the unknown and then at some point you get to like a pile of gold. That gold is power. We know everybody wants power, you know, everybody's always fighting over power. Somebody said something to me like a month ago. They were like, "Oh, you're just looking for power from me or whatever." I was like, "Oh, please." I was like, "It's not hard for me to find power." Like I can get a hold of it in a second. Because I do this work. It's just like power is easy to find. Under good circumstances, you don't have to hurt people to gain power. Okay. And the more power you have, the more control you have over your personal time. Over I don't have other terminology, just over your timelines. Like are you living in a lower timeline where you don't have what you want, or are you living in a higher timeline where you have that quicker access to the lifestyle that you prefer, the people, the circumstances, the internal harmonization of feeling good, of feeling happy, of feeling content, feeling happy with where you are, what you have, you know. They're sending so many strange things through to me. Okay, so they were like, you already closed the portal. So I'm going to mention the last thing. And then they were like, race through your portal gates and then share and do it. I don't know. You got me. We're in a vibe here right now. Something I'm going to need to decompress off of. You know, when God tells you what you need to do, right? Like it's like they gave me a task list and I listened and I'm doing it. And I'm also confused in process. So this is me being in the unknown. And I am mining power right now and I'm just uncomfortable. Okay, so theme number 3, I guess they're leading me right there, is soul power. Oh, we already pretty much went through this. So your soul power, your currency, your soul currency is in collapsing time and bringing that current, that electricity into the timeline you most want, which is really is the present moment. There is nothing that is not the present moment. So if you can collapse your energy and bring as much of your breath, as much of your life, as much of your passion into the present moment, then you can actually see clearly. And by see clearly, it is a psychic skill that people could develop, that many people have when they are present. When you're in the present moment, all of a sudden things become known that you don't know when you're thinking somewhere else, or you're feeling somewhere else, or you have your energy tied up in a conflict in your subconscious. When you're present, you actually can see the potential in any moment. You actually can see what people mean, what they're saying, who they are. You actually can see where the money is in the moment, what opportunities are available for you right now. And it's not about getting everything you want right now. It's about opening up the timeline that has everything you want on that timeline now. And the way that you open it now is you have to first see it, which is to receive it. And then you take the action, whatever that bold, inspired action is. And it is frequently a bold, inspired action. It frequently requires courage of one sort or another. This stream is an example. I don't know exactly what I'm opening up here, but I know, and they told me, they were like, you are opening up a higher timeline. So I'm like, okay, so I'm here. I saw the potential. I saw the possibility. I listened for the guidance, and then I took the action. I am in the process of mining raw soul data, soul power right now. And I am uncomfortable about it. That discomfort that I'm in right now does not, this is just showing you the example to walk you through it. The discomfort doesn't take away from, I don't know, the powerful, bold move. A bold move doesn't have to look like, rah, like, yes, I got this, this is amazing. Like a bold move can literally feel like me being like, I don't know what I'm doing here. It feels a little strange for me, but I'm going to explore it. Like that's my bold move right now. When we're claiming more of who we are in any moment, it requires a bold move. It requires lots of bold moves. So I've programmed myself to take bold moves. I do them as frequently as I can. I won't take a bold move for the sake of taking a bold move, though, if that makes sense. Like it has to feel like it's what I want right now. But I will never not do something that I want to do because of a lack of courage. That I have conditioned out of myself because I used to feel all this guilt where I'd be like, oh, I wish I said that thing. I wish I asked that person out. I wish I did that. Like it happened to me so frequently and was a feeling that I really didn't like within myself. It's like a feeling of guilt or like a feeling of remorse, a feeling of like when you know that you want something and you don't take action and then you lose it. And it's like, oh shit, I lost it because I wasn't willing to do something that was uncomfortable. That feeling makes me so uncomfortable. That generally speaking, I'm not perfect, but generally speaking, I will take the action in the moment. And if I don't take it in the moment, when I catch myself, then I'll take the action. And also, we're always given like new opportunities. So if I missed a first moment, I'm like, do you guys want me to bring in a personal example? I don't know if I want to, but they're like, no, that's your sign because you don't want to. So that was a bold move that was starting to like come forward, but I was like, I actually don't want to share that. And then that was me saying, that's not the bold move for me right now. So the bold moves that are for you are the ones that are based in your desires. So like, again, it's not about making bold moves for the sake of making bold moves. That's like it is an Aries trait, and Aries is the god of war. So like that would be going to war for the sake of going to war. We're channeling more like Athena, which is the goddess of war, but she's strategic in when she goes to war. She's also the goddess of wisdom and knowledge. It's not war for war's sake. So it's like, that's just the example. It's not action for action's sake. It's not bold moves for the sake of bold moves. It's when you want something and you know that an action would get it or would get you closer to it. That's when you take the bold move. And when you practice taking lots of bold moves like that over and over and over again, you get into your higher timelines. You collapse time automatically. What I was saying, it all circles back. If you miss a bold move and you wish you could try again, I pitch up to the universe because I get really cranky with myself when this happens to me. I send it back up to the universe and I say, send me another one and I'll make the right decision this time. And if I don't, and if I screw up again, then I will pick up the phone and I will reroute the entire effing timeline back to it. Like I've done this in a lot of different ways through my life where when I miss the portal, when I miss the yes, when I self-sabotage myself out of what would have brought me my desires in one way or another, and I notice it, I will go out of my way to reroute it. Literally. Because that's me trying to make up for the fact that I knew that I sabotaged something out. And if I don't do that and the universe pitches me a new circumstance that's similar, then I will take the action then because I've got the pain reference of remembering what it was to not take the action before. Now, sometimes the bold action for some of you is not taking that action as well. Not to confuse this, but I'm just trying to think. There are times I have reference points where there are times where I took big, bold moves that I deeply regret. And my bold move now is severe self-restraint, like extreme self-control. And that's my bold move in a lot of circumstances now, is setting boundaries and having a lot of restraint and a lot of self-control. So the bold move is relative. It is about you want to know where that pain indicator is, that memory of the previous pain and where that pain came from. Is the pain from not stepping up enough? Is the pain from stepping up too much? You know, it really is coming down to temperance and balance because they really are the same. Stepping up too much is to take too much control. And there are many circumstances where I have taken too much control. So then I have to practice a lot of restraint. There are also many circumstances where I have taken not enough control, not enough power, not given enough direction, where I have been meek. And then I have to autocorrect those into the moment by taking bigger, bolder actions. And I feel like for me, it's a constant balance in between the two. So probably it is for you guys as well. I do feel like it's a constant seesaw. Like, let's put a little bit of silver in here, a little bit of gold in here, a little bit, which way is more? Let's figure it out, feel it out. Where do I need to place my action? Is it in more discipline or is it in more relaxation? And knowing, I think they said this in a stream last week. It might've been around the full moon, knowing how to really exercise extraordinary discernment to know when is the right moment for more action, more boldness, more uninhibited ferocity. I don't know. Fierceness. Versus actually when it's a good time to sit back. Actually, when is it a good time to take a break, to relax, to allow the universe to meet you? And I do think it takes a lot of discernment to know which of those moments is the moment now, but the more present you can get in any now moment, focus on your breath, notice things around you, like just be in the moment, the easier it will be to see which path is the right path for you right now. Excuse me. Focus on one thing, deep breathe, and using the meditation to run through the objective. You're literally playing a game right now. Perfect. I wish I had more video game references because I think it's so potent because this is a simulation, right? So I think video games are a great way to understand the simulation. Okay. That's what I got. This is a long-winded stream for me to just do like a little exploration. If it did resonate, let me know because I'm kind of curious what the records, why they wanted to send this through. So if there are things that you were like, oh, I did need to hear that, like let me know in the comments just because I'm more curious because I was a little uncomfortable through this stream. And I'm like, was this the right thing to do? And I'm like, y'all told me to do it, so it must be. But it's just one of those moments. Shake it off. Okay. Any parting last words, my friends up in the ether? They're just showing me, they're actually showing me the energy of you guys synchronizing your timeline. So it's actually really cool. It's a very subconscious process. It's what's being shown to me. And it's coming in from the crown. So the way that they're showing the timeline synchronizing is many different timelines coming into the crown chakra in the funnel and then like funneling through your experience into your humanity, into how you move, how you act, how you be, and how it's going to be a little bit more of an automatic process, I think, this week, kind of moving forward for you guys, where it'll feel a little more synchronized just automatically. This was a transmission. That's okay. Like, way to hit me over the head with the textbook. This is a transmission. Enjoy that. Feel free to comment below. Let me know what resonated, what's going on for you for this week. And yeah. I'll be back shortly with some more videos. I don't know what I'm going to shoot yet this week, but likely around the theme of money. If you're interested in Money Recoded, check out the link in the description below. Use the promo code. If you have questions, send me an email. Check out the Cash Money Meditation. You'll enjoy that. And that's what I got for you guys. Okay. Lots of love. I will see you soon. And until then, enjoy your evening, your day, your week, everything.